didn't necessarily leak what they were going to do, but it did involve a vault. That's the only hint we got. So, fortunately, these players are jumping off the bus, which means they can no longer hear us as we get this game underway. And, of course, there's going to be some battles we need to focus on the day. Of course, Frenzy Field. We're going to see some more action potentially take place there with Cammy and Yapko. Surprise contested towards the end of the day.
Fifth game, yeah.
Fifth game, so we'll watch that closely. Obviously, we also have to pay attention to Brutal Bastion, as that has been an ongoing fight here for these teams. And Slappy Shores, another big one on the day. But last but not least, you got to talk about Mega City.
Mega City been a hot spot throughout this competition for our aggressive competitors. At least that's the way to put it, right? I think that's fair to say. Acorn and Epic Whale holding the throne here for the teams landing at Mega City. One of the largest POIs in the game right now, so these two looking to try and take it for everything it's worth, find all the loot that's hidden in these corners. They're very familiar. Epic Whale sticking to it since the beginning, not trying to move away. Find some shockwaves early on in this game, so geared up well for any sort of early game fights, because that's the key to success here at Mega City. It's adaptability to be ready for fights when they come at you, even when you're not ready.
Lots of things on the mind of these players, but one thing is for sure, the win is on the mind for Gentle and Dark, as they have had just a phenomenal turn of events here for them. Day 2 was spectacular, especially obviously those 2 big wins they got on the day. And for Dark, he's feeling good. MVP. I mean, that is no easy feat in itself.
No.
But getting the MVP trophy for the day is massive. And you already saw those bonuses on socials. That's a big chunk of change to walk away with.
As an IGL as well, we saw Yapko here, which we can see on the screen, taking home the MVP for day number 1. Day number 2, of course, going to an IGL. We love to see that. A little bit of diversity there. As some more action here at Mega City. The flare guns are starting to come out, so they'll spot out Rezon just below. Looking to try and connect some shots. Arrow looking with this MK Alpha. Seems to be the weapon of choice as far as assault rifles in this competition. No surprise, the long-range capabilities of this weapon, there really isn't anything that rivals it.
There isn't, especially in a situation like this where you got 4 teams fighting for Mega City. And while it is a great spot, don't get me wrong, it's definitely not worth fighting like this. And especially when you have Epic Whale and Acorn just below, focusing the smart thing, which is just get your loot in order. So for this duo, they're going to continue to loot up, do what they have to do to prep for the game. But for Arrow and sub 500K, they're going to find themselves falling behind in the story of Mega City.
Bully and Muzz, no switch-ups here. Some high expectations put on their shoulders coming into the day. Again, we talked about, speculated at least, that they might try and switch up the drop spot. Still sticking to what they know best. Steamy Springs, the drop of choice for this duo. Clicks and Duke just above, looking down on them, looking for some shots. Clicks the one to make sure that they don't try and rotate over, while Duke continues to loot. But again, we followed it closely, Panda. Brutal Bastion, triple contested POI at times, but it seems like in its current form, Sizlucky and Degen finding this north side of Brutal Bastion uncontested. So they're able to reap the rewards, grabbing all the extra loot here. Some bunkers coming out. But here's the fight. Here it is. Mega City. One player is knocked, that being Arrow, as Amar and Rezon close the distance.
Great fight for them to take. Of course, Amar and Rezon, a incredible duo to be playing in this event. Of course, one of the invited teams. So definitely going to be something to pay close attention to. But they're not the only fights going on the island, as more are taking place here across the map. But we focus on Rezon now, looking towards what is a duo in the distance. That is Sub, just trying to get away here after losing his teammate. But Epic Whale looking to punish him in that moment. That is going to be tough here, as the Sub just continues to slip away, but not without getting a little bit more punish from the boy, Epic Whale.
That's not the player you want to hope misses their shots. He's the one that hits them consistently, especially from ranges like that with something like an MK Alpha. So still able to move away. Sub looking to try and clutch up. We can start to see Malibuka Thomas HD still at the racetrack, as we'll get a look at this second zone. Still very central. So most of the teams are going to be happy here, so they don't have too far to go. You can see Dexify and Draftel moving through. We'll get a little bit of replay, though, of this engagement. Amar coming in clutch, using this legendary variant, the Maven Shotgun. We see a lot of players opt to hold the Accelerant Maven Shotgun, but that legendary variant still can do some damage.
So, you know, this is an interesting topic to bring up because you had a very different opinion than a lot of the pros in one of the content pieces that came up. And it was about which shotgun are you choosing? Are you choosing the heisted Breacher or the heisted Accelerant? And you were saying that the Breacher was not the right choice. Tell me why.
No, I mean, all I remember very fondly, I think it's because I've been on the receiving end of the damage of the Accelerant shotgun one too many times, where you can see gliding through the air, trying to contest the floating POI on the island, and it's just 2 shots and you're knocked before you even hit the ground. Not really much you can do. Granted, you can look for the one-pump potential with the Breacher, but at the same time, if someone's gliding through the air, that's just not going to happen consistently.
I mean, look, I think it's very, very different for you and I, right? We obviously play the game and we enjoy the game. We put some serious hours into it. But when you are, let's just say Zandy, for example, because he's on the screen. That man don't miss the one shot. I'm just saying it right now. He really don't. Like, if you are flying towards him and he's got the Breacher in hand, there's a good chance he's tagging you for a significant amount of damage before you hit the ground. So it really is tough. I will say after the nerf, though, the Breacher is definitely less viable. It takes a lot more to attack these bunkers. What was 1, maybe 2 shots onto a bunker is now 4.
Yeah.
So definitely a problem in the past. But no, looks like we got to switch our focus over to Malibuca Thomas HD as they are getting the fight started. Their NPC, it does look like, has arrived. And that one team that promised us the win on the day, you saw them there for a moment. It's Alex and Sun. Just below could cause some problems here for the reigning DreamHack champion duos of both Dallas and DreamHack Summer, but we'll have to wait and see if they end up taking any of these fights.
It's so hard to spot out players sometimes. It's so easy to find some line of sight cover down here in the jungle. Kika and Kenzo utilizing the vehicle to try and find some cover of their own. Vaniac and Karmi, a little bit more success in that aspect, and their vehicle is very healthy, as well as both players not really taking any incoming fire. So just moving through, going about their way, trying to find any extra loot that might be scattered about. Maybe it's down on the jungle floor or atop some of these trees. As you can see, Malibuca trying to do that as we will get a look at the map as zone number 3 will present itself here. This is going to be a crucial one to see where these players opt to play, if they're going to try and stay in zone for longer or try and move more central. But again, just straight center zone, split up really well by this kind of snow area on the map currently, which gives a lot of opportunity for line of sight cover.
The interview for Kanata and Agers was actually one of my favorites here from the 4 that we got today. And obviously, they understand what they've been doing well, and that is being consistent, taking fights that they know that they can win. And this seems to be another one. While the bunker comes out, it's not going to be enough to stop the fight as Kanata gets up the elimination onto Kika, and Ager's going to be able to pick up Kenzo as well. So that's going to be a nice little 2-piece for them.
You were talking about them
in this point, and I'm telling you, man, they are just consistent. When they're taking fights, you can basically bet on them to win, and that's because they're only taking fights that they feel confident in their ability to win. And that's kind of the difference between them and some of these other teams that are taking these early and mid-game fights, is they often jump into it very, very confident, but you never know what's going to happen. Kanata Agers, they always seem to know what's going to happen. It's especially as the fight goes on. If they feel like they're losing it or they no longer have an advantage in it, they will disengage. And more often than not, they do seem to get away because they pack everything they need utility-wise to make those plays in and out of fights.
But Pink and Anas now lurking outside the racetrack. Booga and Threats now trying to find themselves a vehicle, but taking a lot of damage here. Anas burning ammunition, just trying to shake things up for him, make him get a little bit more uncomfortable. As Kanata and Ager sending a flare gun towards the enemies. You can see Vaniac, one player knocked, Fluger and Opt lurking above. This is where things can start to get hairy as Fluger and Opt now in the mix, looking to try and find a confirm or the last player in the team. Kanata Ager's lurking though, just on the outside, trying to spot them out, and they do find them there. Looking to connect some shots. Kanata not able to do so. A rare instance here coming out of Kanata, but Opt and Fluger slipping away, not able to find the confirm or anything useful for them. But Karmi in the bush, just to the left of Opt, trying to pop the med kit. Are they going to be able to realize they're there? That's the question. Shotgun in hand, Opt and Fluger just on the other side. They're so close. Karmi.
If Karmi takes a shot here, it's pretty much calling out that, hey, I'm in this bush.
Yeah.
Come fight me. So for Fluger and Opt, this fight is not one that needs to be had. So smart on them to continue to get in the car and try to rotate around. And, of course, smart on Karmi not taking that shot because it could have been detrimental to their first game of the day. Now, though, Blotcha Mixon in the fold here as Fluger and Opt get to their position. And we know this because we know this spot game after game with them. This spot is great. It is a phenomenal spot on the map. It's hard to counter, right? You have line of sight on two separate areas. If you start getting tagged up from one, you can easily move into another, protect yourself in a way that ultimately a lot of these other ridges just don't. So great play on them to already take their position where they're at. But now the island is here, Ben. Who do you think is going to be fighting for this one? I'm just not sure yet.
We've seen it before. Thomas and Malabuka have gone for it a couple of times in this competition. This time, though, staying near the jungle. Have to wait and see. More often than not, the teams that just kind of get lucky with the spawn location of the island are the ones that are going to try and make a move. Fluger and Opt possibly spotting out Karmu, who is now switched positions. Decided to choose a different kind of foliage to hide in. Chosen a little bit of a shrub this time.
Okay, you know what? Listen, I rate whatever works, right? Whatever works for you, Karmi. If that is going to be the play, then that's the play. Especially now that Fluger and Opt happen to be in the bush that Karmi was just in. So it's so funny, too, because obviously we can see what's going on, and you all at home can see what's going on. They have no clue that they've just been exchanging bushes with one another.
He's right there. They really did just swap right over. And Karmi's not exactly camouflaged. The outfit not blending in with the surroundings. His Axe Force and Vortexers rotating back towards the rifting BOI, but the action will start. Gentle, Hero, head-to-head, atop the building. Hero dishing out the big damage, but the aggressive shockwaves sent back. But instead, Gentle will be taken out to fall damage, leaving Hero alone up on the high ground as Fahad will return back to the duo.
This is huge, folks. Dark losing Gentle here early in this game is not a good sign for them on the top of the leaderboard. And we did talk about how they really need to remain consistent to be successful and stay up on the top, but ultimately they're going to be focused a lot more in these lobbies. The eyes are going to be on them because they are in second place, because they had such an exceptional day too, and because they showed a lot of what they've been doing well to the audience here in the game. So if you're one of these players like Draftel and Dexafite, you may be wondering, how do I come back from what has been a rough couple days? Can I make some big plays here in the last day of this competition? Well, with the 25% increase in points, anything's possible.
Big games, those 10 elimination plus games are what these players are looking for, just like Levin mentioned. So Queasy and Vino, again, taking a little bit of punishment here from Acorn Cybertron Cannon, as they will hold off in this bush. A little bit of a ridge to play, so they won't be able to take any returning fire. A little bit of an interesting loadout selection here from Vino. The MK Alpha and the explosive repeater. We haven't really talked about it as much as I thought. We've seen it happen, be used in some close range engagement within buildings, but choosing it over a shotgun, I'm not sure exactly how I feel about it, Panda.
Well, we saw the same thing, I think it was Epic Whales loadout.
Yeah.
And we saw it on socials. We actually only caught it for a moment on the broadcast, but I was analyzing his loadout, and I believe it was the only weapon was the explosive repeater.
Interesting.
So, you know, maybe it's a thought. Maybe it's something that players are catching on to that we haven't caught on to quite yet, which is very, very possible. Because while we watch the game a lot, they watch the game even more. So it's definitely something to pay close attention to. We'll see if they find some success. But speaking of success, it's, of course, Refs Gardens, the Andy. They have found everything they could possibly need and then some to play out the remainder of this game. So hopefully they can have a big game one on the day. But now Queasy Veno going head-to-head against Acorn and Epic Whale. One of our top teams from day one, of course, Queasy Veno. Struggled a little bit more in day two. They need to be consistent with this pressure, because that's a lot of damage off of Epic Whale and Acorn. So we'll see how this continues forward. But no, now the pressure coming from threats as well. This is not looking good here for the duo on the day. But things can change in just a moment.
They're burning these bunkers too. Literally and figuratively. They're having to throw down 3 there, as well as them being set ablaze by the vehicle itself. Vino and Queasy having their own NPC within their bunker compound. This Epic Whale rotating away. Don't really need to make contact. This is where the explosive repeater is so useful. So much damage to vehicles as well as to the players located within. Acorn and Epic Whale, though, they've been in this situation before. They're no stranger to this kind of pressure. So rotate out. They're spotting another player now in the vehicle there. They look for the double spray, connecting some shots, and there's the knock. So now Acorn and Epic will have an opportunity to push into the zone onto Rezon, who's knocked, leaving Amar alone. They're coming out of the vault as well. So that's going to be a nice, healthy refresh.
It's exactly what they needed there. They needed the slurp juices to remain in the storm for this fight, and of course they're going to be able to get that, as well as solid flare gun coming to the inventory of Epic Whale. So good pickup for sure. But Amar just trying to stay alive here for as long as he can, and definitely got the stuff to do it. 2 legendary slurp juices, 1 med miss. I mean, that's going to keep you in the storm for at least another zone.
And no problems there, just healing up, buying their time, pumping Trashy. Different strategy here, trying to beeline it towards the next zone as it's going to go ahead and reveal itself. The 7th one here as Bloomer and Lardle again deep in zone. X-Squeeze low HP, taking some pressure from these Cybertron cannons. Vehicles, the name of the game in rotation in this competition, can make or break your game. Bloomer and Lardle not having their own here, and you can see what it leaves them with. Not really a lot of options, just looking to try and grab some barrels together. 40 HP, looking to possibly shockwave into this next zone. They're just on the edge, but Anas and Pink down below, taking a lot of pressure. Andalex and Nikov now moving in. They have 1 player knocked. Pink, that's 1. Third party from Dexafite will leave Anas alone. Popping their own slurp juice. Looking to try and spot them out. Not able to find it. But the vehicle trying to be unearthed to move forward.
Tough situation here for the duo, but and it looks like Nikov definitely a little bit healthier in that fight, but no. Acorn has gone down.
Wow.
That's going to be Queasy Veno picking him up. Unsure if Epic Whale was a casualty in that one, but we'll have to wait and see, as Queasy Veno definitely needed not the refresh as much, but definitely needed the motivation to get some elims here, because that was only the first one they've put on thus far in this game. There it is.
There
Epic Whale has slipped away. Fortunate for us, we're able to get that. Shout out to the observing team, of course, doing a phenomenal job here in game number 1, keeping us informed to the action.
Nice little spot as well within the log, the down tree in the jungle floor. Looking to try and lay low, make no noise whatsoever, but instead takes a lot of damage. Except in Dubs, just on the other side, as Epic Whale will pop their last slurp juice, and again connecting on some shots. That's going to do 60 damage each, so taking a little bit off the top of the overshield. Dubs and Accept not able to find where they're at, and they're taking some damage from these wasps as Epic Whale, or at least another team close by, lobbing them over. Accept hopping right back into the vehicle, decides, I do not want any of this smoke. It's too much to handle. They'll rotate out, but Epic Whale hunkering down for the time being, making sure that no player's rotating in behind.
This is a great position for him to be in for now, but he's going to have to figure something out really, really soon. It does look like Malibu and Thomas HD are going to be out of this one, and that's going to be a huge loss to the lobby, but not a loss for Cammy and Yapko as they stay in this one and staying very healthy. I would be surprised if we don't see them in the top 5, but you never know. These games can just end in an instant, and you never know who the casualties will end up being.
Doesn't take a lot to pop off and move up on this leaderboard. So again, everyone trying to capitalize on this 3-day format to the best of their ability. Yapko, Cammy, no eliminations for them quite yet, and we're used to seeing them finding some in the early game. As another team will be caught out, Epic Whale just below, being one of them. It's going to be Andalex and Nikov falling there. Epic Whale swapping out the shockwaves for the bunker to buy him a little bit of time here to use the chug cannon. Moving back though, Nikov as a solo, trying to get some shots on target. He needs this. He's stuck in zone. No heals left as Epic Whale rotating away back towards center zone. But he's stuck on low ground. Move on the other side of the wall. He's not aware what's going on here. Wu just trying to stay quiet, getting a little bit of these healing items from Epic Whale just on the other side. Are they even aware they're both there? No idea. Moo will catch him out. Epic Whale gets taken down.
What a loss there for Epic Whale. He had no clue Moo was there, and of course he got the more significant shot in that moment, so shout out to Moo for that one. But no, Yapko and Cammy just playing their game plan to perfection as they have the vehicle here, and now they're just going to bunker up here for the remainder of this one.
Oof.
As the zone continues to pull in, tons and tons of big names still alive. This is probably the most stacked 8th zone we've seen.
Yeah.
And it's only going to get crazier.
It's the jungle, man. It's crazy down here in the bottom, but Fahad and Hero will rise above this lobby on top of this little plateau, looking down. Vortexer's knocked. Looks to connect a couple more shots. Look for a confirmed. Booga also knocked. You can see him just there in the distance below. A little bit of that temple. Hero dishing out damage low on ammunition, so trying to look to make these shots count as they have 4 eliminations. Now they notice them just on the other side of top. Some of these temples, everyone's moving. This is the God spot. Panda, they're set up very well, but Cammy and Yapko have to make something happen. Blake and Cease into the car. Cammy, 1 HP, takes them both out.
Wow, what did I just watch? In the blink of an eye, Blake and Cease hop in and get eliminated. And there goes Hyamzo taking out, or Amar taking out Hyamzo. Wait, that is a huge elimination there for Amar. As fights continue on, though, the shockwave plays coming through. Yapko, Cammy just want to get in the zone. They want to get ahead of these other players and hopefully fight for it. A big fight coming out. That's Jason right into Storm, and that Storm might be enough damage to take him out.
Slide kicks him in, finds it. Cammy slipping into the little bit of the aircraft carrier, but Seti doing a lot here to try and get into the mix. Fluger falls in the elimination feed. Yapko confirmed, leaving Cammy fully alone in this game to try and clutch up top 7 here with 13 players remaining. Yapko, though, breaking the wall, looking for an opportunity to maybe even get the res off, confirm onto Tayson, leaving Seti alone. But at this point, he might be able to get it off, Panda. This could be huge to try and give them a run here.
What looked like a doom moment there for Yapko and Cammy could be the comeback here to finish the game strong. We'll just have to wait and see as Blaster still in this one. Super healthy, going towards Alex. Wait, this is Alex's son. They said they were going to win game 1, and so far it's looking good for them.
They're in the late game. We're at this moment where you have to start to capitalize on eliminations as they come to you. Yapko back into the mix, looks up above the building, connects onto DGen, taking him down. Lucky atop the building on the other side, looking to team Shockwave ahead. They only have overshield. Yapko, 30 HP in total. Fahad and Hero, front side of this zone. Seti will fall. DGen confirmed. They're falling like flies.
Falling like flies indeed as Fahad and Hero just look to clean up this one. Yapko, though, getting launched into Storm. That's a lot of damage. 1 HP and 1 shot and he is done as Cammy will be forced to potentially hold on. That's going to be Alex in the feed going down. Here it is. Yapko going down. Cammy very weak as the fight gets pushed in. And Hero takes him out. Hero and Fahad win game number 1 on the day.
Not just winning the game and taking the VR, but 12 eliminations. An absolutely incredible performance. Levin called it in the pre-show. They're gonna be looking for the double-digit elimination games, and Fahad and Hero came to play on day number 3.